Oh, Brother Charlie. Yeah, I know what you mean about that suffering. You know, I've often, sometimes, I guess, those thoughts pops in one's head. And sit there and often wondered, why God didn't remove some things, that has happened to me, that was on my body, and not to mention in my body and all this, that, especially for some of the certain things that came from my past, from the way I lived so wickedly. So, and it's like these scars, that just as reminders, and I hate that, But in my inside my body, I guess the way my back is and everything, and all this, part of that stems from the way I'd lived. And you get to suffering, and you get to start thinking, well, there's times, yes, brothers and sisters, I do too. I get to suffering, and I get to, once in a while, sometimes I don't dwell on it, but every once in a while, guess what? Old self-pity wants to come in and sit there, woe is me. Yeah. But, you pray, and God heals. He's healed you before, right? It's like He's healed me. And I've seen Him do miraculous things. And I know some people think, well, look at there, God didn't heal you. He must not be real, or blah, 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 blah. It's kind of like, oh, don't give me that junk. No better than that. God don't entertain me. I am not here to be living just so I can be entertained by God. No. But, God allows things to happen sometimes, depending on who we are. Because God knows each one of us individually. And how He'll do me, He'll do someone else different, and vice versa, because He knows each of us. He knows our weaknesses, and He knows our strength. And you're right, Brother Charlie. And like Brother Paul, people could learn there if they would listen and read about him a little bit more. They could learn a whole lot. And sometimes they can learn from others. It's like we can learn from you, brother. That's right. Though some of them out there don't want to learn. They only know what they want to know, and that's all they want. It's kind of like being stuck in that bubble. They're afraid to try to find the crack to be able to get their head out of it and see what's out there. But anyway, that's like I know that with my sufferings and my scars, I guess you would say, that I have and things, as much as I want these things, the pain and the scars and stuff to be removed, I think maybe, and from listening to you, that reminds me, and listening to Brother Paul in the Bible, kind of reminds me that maybe God has got it there for a purpose, like to keep me humble, not for me, because I get to thinking maybe if God had removed those things, would I forget Him? It's like the person who was poor and he got rich. He forgot where he came from, his humble beginnings, and he went out and he even forgot God and forgot his family and forgot his true friends and stuff. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be, because see, I had been out there and I don't like it. It's a horrible place. It's kind of like, for me, it's like having been out in a war, a terrible, horrible war, and managed to come out of it scarred but whole, and looking back, just grateful for the opportunity to got out of that. It was horrible. I mean, the spiritual death, the horror of sin and the things that I had seen and done. I didn't want to I don't miss it. I don't want to miss it. And I don't want to even think about anything that has to do with back there. I think God has His reasons to allow things to happen to us. On some of us, the reason why He allows it. Because, I mean, if you think about it, alright, just give an example. I'm not going to say that's the case, but I'm just saying, for example, if a person, say, who don't have no legs, okay, maybe the person who had legs and then they was out living very, very wickedly, horrible, hurting people and what have you, right? Or they loses their legs. Now they're really brought down, okay? And then they end up, alright, they come to the Lord, and then they want, can't figure out why God ain't helping them get new legs. Not God can't. God can, but God don't. First of all, He don't perform for us, and there might be just a reason. Because if He gave you those legs, what would you do? You might say within yourself, you know what you would do, but God knows you more than anything else. I mean, that's something to think about. He knows me better than any of you, and He knows you better than what I would know. So, I mean, there's things and factors that we have to think about. That's a good testimony. That's a good message, Brother Charlie. It's a good message you got. Sometimes we need to be reminded. We need to hear it. And no matter how old it may seem to people, brother, just keep telling it. Because we as human beings, we forget. And we need to be reminded. Sometimes we need just a little bit shaved off the top. Maybe a whole lot for some of us. But we need to be brought down a little bit. We need to stop and think. So I don't want to go back out the way I was. I don't want to have nothing to do with it. And what I want to be is what He, the Lord Yeshua, HaMashiach, the Lord Jesus Christ, what He wants me to be, not what I want to be. It's not about me. It's not my will, but His will. And sometimes, I guess a lot of times, Brother Charlie, we get out there and we intend well, but we end up forgetting His will, and then it becomes our will. Sometimes when it's like that, the Lord allows our behavior to just get run away enough where it brings us down, because and He can do it. And some, whether that might be some spiritual thing or maybe a little bit of a physical and spiritual thing or something. I mean, it could be an accident because of our own stupidity, whatever. I mean, God knows. But the point is, if God healed us of some of those things that we asked for, what would happen to us? Really? I mean, something to think about. I know we say, well, I know I would, but would you? Would you? That may be what you're thinking in the moment, but think about it thoroughly. Would you? Hey, Brother Charlie, God bless you, brother. Shalom. Thank you for that message. I hope